Hello and welcome in. I am MissKinghorn and we are back here with another Sims 4 speed build, and this time we are building a castle using the new castle kit. Now everybody's busy doing houses and stuff, and I've secretly been working on this build here, and this is actually for Ninsta's new wedding challenge, so if you haven't checked that one out, definitely go and check that. They do challenges over on their Twitch channel every month, and this one is actually a very special one because I believe it is 5 years since their first, and they wanted to go back to the very first one, which was a wedding venue. So that is what we are doing here, and I thought let's mix the two together. So we have this wonderful little castle. It's not huge in here, but is a gorgeous little castle. In there I wanted to use the new kit as much as I could, and so I figured let's do that. And a lot of you know I'm not overly happy with the kit, and I have just had to take a big breath before saying that. But I think I can get I'm happy-ish with this kit. I'm happy-ish with this build in here of what we've done. So yeah, let's just leave it at that, shall we? Into here. So we've ended up doing kind of lots of turrets, lots of sort of flat roofs as well, which isn't necessarily very realistic, but roofing something this shape I did try, and yeah, it didn't really work. So in the end you just have that roof piece along the front here, and then the rest of it is kind of roof terraces. Now 2 of them are usable, the others are not, and that is simply because I don't do anything with a 3rd and 4th floor. I just leave them kind of empty because there was no way up to them, and actually trying to get a stairs in just for the 2nd floor was actually really difficult, and I kind of forgot about it right up until the very end when I realised that I needed to do something upstairs. So I kind of went for quite a dark look for this castle. So there is actually, using sort of the reddish kind of stone work in here, I think this whole sort of thing looked quite nice. It looks very kind of old and spooky, and then we use some of what I'm calling the full dirty and the semi-dirty variants into here, and then we're kind of mixing it up with some black windows, doors and things like that as well, which I thought was a really nice kind of combo, and they worked really well together, and it just kind of gives you that really nice sort of dark gothic kind of look, which I thought for this sort of architectural style is really sort of important, because that's what it would normally be. So yeah, that's kind of what I went for in here, and I hope you like it. It was a fun build to do, I have to be fair, and although I'm not happy with the kit in its entirety, I think I do get this one to come out okay. So yeah, I'm happy to a point. But as usual, I'm only going to show you the windows on the front of the build. The rest is all done, and yeah, you can clearly see here, we're just coming around and putting the last little windows in the very top turret. Now I don't actually show you, but I do scale up the butler's bell. So from Vintage Glamour, when we got butlers, there's a little bell that your sim can ring if like they needed the butler for anything, and it's really the only bell we have in game. So I sort of scaled that up, I think it was like 90 times, and got that in at the very top there. So I thought that maybe once there is a wedding, somebody comes along, rings the bell, and then it broadcasts it all out to sort of everybody else in the town. And this one actually is built in Henford-on-Bagley. So yeah, and it's up right at the very top in in Bramblewood, I believe is the neighbourhood, and it's a very, very top lot. It's a 20 by 30, so not a very big lot, but I thought up here, a little bit away from everything else, is a really nice place to sort of go and have that. And obviously you've got the waterfall nearby as well, and yeah, pulling out lots and lots of sort of wedding-y bits and pieces in here as well. And yeah, I knew I wanted to do a wedding venue, but I didn't necessarily know who for or what kind of wedding we wanted. But then choosing the sort of the black swatches to go in with it in here actually kind of made it all work really, really nicely. So we kind of go for kind of a pinky, reddy, kind of purpley kind of colour scheme that is available, and then we have loads of black. So it's like a very kind of gothic kind of wedding that we go for in here, and that sort of suits out this build really, really nicely. And I kind of think that maybe like the plant pots would stay, the bar would stay, like this kind of area here would all stay because it's part of the wedding venue, and then you can change the flowers, like a couple of the rugs kind of to what you want for your particular wedding. That's kind of what I thought in my head, but we did go for a really nice sort of red, like these flowers here in that really bright kind of colour scheme, and I think it really works with the black that we have going through, and also like that reddish kind of tan stone that we've got going on as well. So we do get out a few bits and pieces and absolutely love what I've done with it, which I think is all the most important thing. And I've said this several times. If I'm happy with a build, if I can live in that build, or yeah, I'm not going to get married in this build, but kind of style, let's put it that way, into there as well. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. And then I wanted a big picture on this wall, and in the end we kind of went for Vlad because it's the only one that's in that really nice intricate frame. So yeah, you have a giant picture of a vampire on the wall, but maybe he's the original owner of this build or something like that. That's kind of what I thought in my head, so that's what I went with into here. And now this is the actual sort of ceremony room really of this in here. So we get this big down here, and then obviously the chairs in for your wedding party as well. And it's a bit of an odd shape because you've kind of got these double sort of pop outs in here, and in the end we do actually take one section of it there away and use it for the piano. Now, can we have an update for the round walls please, because they're still really buggy, and if you want to place anything in the round walls you actually have to go to like the cutaway section and place it from the other side, which as you can see there, it was a bit of a pain. I don't necessarily know why it had to be such a pain and weird, but yeah, in the end we had to go with it in there. And then trying to find one, there isn't a matching swatch for that petal aisle. So in the end, we kind of had to go for the pink and white, which doesn't really fit with the wedding style that I wanted, but I think I can get away. It kind of works with that sort of pinky colour, but it's a little bit more white than I would have liked. Now, I don't actually cut out any rooms for this build. I show you the whole lot because it was quite a quick build to do, I have to be fair. So yeah, you're going to see the whole thing, including all of the blunders that I do make and then try to cover up. Now, these lights, the little candles, I wanted them all at the same height, and it just was not working. So there might be a few that are a little bit all over the place, and I apologise for that. They should all be at the same height, but I'm seeing here that they're not. So it's just one of those things that you see back in playback when you are doing all of that. But yeah, I didn't want to restrict myself to any kind of packs or anything for this build. There is obviously a lot of my wedding stories in here, and obviously the castle kit as well. But then there's for rent, there's everyday clutter, yeah, lots of different packs in here that I've chosen. I do try to limit the number as much as I possibly can, so that if I use an item from a pack, I make sure that there is at least more, or there's more than one item from every pack, so that it makes it worthwhile. And if I can change the items out, then I try to do that as best I possibly can. So yeah, but I do that on all of my builds anyway, so that's not new in there. So food is always an important thing at a wedding, and it is one of sort of like the requirements per se for having a wedding nowadays. And the same with the wedding stories, you need to have that sort of grand meal. And so I thought a fully functional little kitchen in here would work out, especially if you've got to like make a cake or something as well. So I did that. I didn't want to overly decorate this. So you have all of sort of your necessary bits. You have your fridge, you have your ovens, you have a sink, and you've kind of got a little bit of clutter, but nowhere near as much as normal. Shockingly, I know, but I restrained myself from this build in here because I thought that maybe like the food could be cooked elsewhere and it's brought in and then just dished up. So yes, there are lots of plates and things like that in here as well, and I do actually use the debug wedding cake here. Now I have to be fair, it's quite small, so I do scale this up, and then I do actually place the little topper on the top. Obviously it's uniced as well, but I thought it's symbolic. It was worth it into there as well. Now I'm not 100% sure whether that would actually stay with the build or not in here, so I kind of figured that it might not, so you might have to make your own, or it might just go off if it does. That's fine in there. And yeah, that's kind of the kitchen done. I kept it basic, I kept it simple, not a lot in there, but also very in keeping with the theme. And now this is the sort of dining room aspect and kind of like the evening space in here. Now this was a little bit more interesting to do because of the layout of it. It's kind of a little bit of an odd shape, and I couldn't really make it square. So I ended up kind of having to like split it into two really. So you've kind of got like this section over here is the dining sort of area part of it, where and the seating is only on one side, so they are all looking up to the sort of top table where your bride and grooms or brides would sit up here. So that's kind of what this part is up here, just under sort of this eave into here, and lots of plants, lots of candles and stuff like that, which I thought worked out really well. And I've seen lots of people doing this to try and get them in the right place. I've got to be fair, didn't really work with the second one too well, but I think I should have probably just eyeballed it. But yeah, I wanted them right on the very edge of the table so that you can sort of still see down the middle. And then trying to find a rug in that sort of nice colour, and voila, City Living, you have come to my rescue for this, because that worked in really nicely and it fits in with the whole sort of theme. And then I wanted a bit of a divide to kind of split this up in here and hide the stairs as much as I possibly could, because I had to go in here, there's just nowhere else for them. But I couldn't really find anything that would really work. The others were a little bit too over the top, or it just didn't fit. But we do end up getting them in here behind this dance floor that we get in here, which, yeah, basically to hide the toilet door, because that's the only place the door could go. So it had to go there, and then I felt you don't really want to see people going in and out of the toilet. So we place one of those over here, just to give it a little bit of a screen, a little bit of protection in there. Now this is the smallest dance floor, and it's really the only one that would fit in here. The others are just too big in there. But that is that section all done in here. So we have our food, we have our dance floor, we have some music. So the requirements actually for a wedding venue: we've got the wedding arch, a bar, dining chairs, indoor plants, a stereo, a sink, a toilet, and wall decorations. We have ticked all of those off with this build, so we are all happy into here. Now this space upstairs, I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to do with it, but I figured we could make this into kind of like a room where you would get ready, like the bride would get ready in the morning or during the day before she got married, like they got married. So like you could do your hair, your makeup, you can get dressed, things like that. That's kind of what I thought we could do in here. So I do also put a few other little bits and pieces in, which you're going to see, that maybe make it a little bit more of an after wedding event. Could be up here, but you'll have to wait and see into here. So more flowers, all in the same sort of theme, and I kind of carried on the theme throughout with this, and I think it really works quite nicely into here. And I wanted something along this back wall because it was a very bland wall, so, and there couldn't be any windows or anything like that, so we ended up scaling up this piece, and it works brilliantly. And with it sort of being that black kind of like gothic look as well, it kind of works out really, really well. And yes, we do put a bed in here for your after wedding event, so it could be somewhere when you spend the night afterwards, or maybe if you've been busy dancing downstairs and you just want to crash for a little while, you can come up here and do that. That was kind of my thinking for up here, and it fills up a lot of space up here because it's a big empty space. So yeah, and we get out some more candles and more flowers. There are a lot of them in this build into here as well, but I think it all works really, really nicely together in there. And I wished that the flowers on the back were a little bit darker, a purpley kind of reddy colour, rather than that soft baby pink, but it's the only black one, and I thought it's one that would stay regardless of sort of who was getting married, like the colour theme that they were going for. At least that's what I was thinking in my head. And now I wanted a little area on this side where they could get married, like get dressed for the wedding, so we use the little kind of like step, like dresser area for this, and then some mirrors. I've ended up having to make my own 3 set mirrors because there really wasn't any others that could really work, so that's kind of what we did in here. And then lots of sort of mirrors, more plants, lots of wardrobes, lots of seating. Yeah, it just sort of all brings this whole nice little area all together in here. And we use the Get Famous ones. I found these, I know we've had them, but I kind of like forgot that we had them, and they work really well for like venues like this, where we can kind of get out these sorts of little build. It just brings the whole thing all together into here. And then I thought maybe we can have some bits and pieces here for the flower girls. So we've got the ring bearers pillow, we've got the flower basket. Annoyingly, it's only in that one swatch. Why do we not have more different swatches with different coloured petals in? I don't know, but that is what it is. And then we just have a little magazine here for maybe the maid of honour or one of the bridesmaids or a family member to come up here and just sort of sit and read and chill while everyone else is getting ready. That was my thinking. And now these little bouquets of flowers work out in here, and we do actually do something kind of clever with them. So I have 4 white roses bouquets, and then we have a black bouquet of roses in here. And I thought the bride would have the black one, and then all the bridesmaids would have the white one to go with maybe their black dresses or something, and then to counteract that, the bride would have a black with the white dress or ivory dress that they are wearing. That was kind of my thinking, and I gotta say it looks pretty good, and yeah, I like it. So in there, and it fits a theme as well, and I think that's something that I do like to do, is I have a theme, I have an idea, and I roll with it. And I've definitely rolled with it with this build. It is all on point into here. And then we have a little sort of ensuite room up here, which actually has a bath in it as well. So a nice little area for them to chill out, maybe get ready beforehand, and yeah. And then this little sun terrace out here, which, funny story, when I was taking all of the screenshots, it was actually a thunderstorm. So there's not many shots of this because it was covered in water, which wasn't really ideal, but lots of sort of seating options out here. I didn't really know what else to do. Here it seemed like weird sort of spaces, and then we have this one on this side where I've put a little telescope and a little easel up here for maybe they came up and had some wedding photos or something like that taken, and yeah, maybe just want a memento from your wedding day, something like that. And then these gorgeous fern in here works out really well. Now we did a little bit of the landscaping at the beginning, but I didn't really know what we were going to do with the back, so I kind of left that, and now we just kind of bring out the same kind of planting all the way around and just sort of tidy all of this area up. I could have left it empty, but I didn't really feel right in here, so yeah, just more planting, and we ended up going with like this soft kind of peachy kind of colour, which doesn't really fit the insides, but hey, it kind of works, so I just roll with that into here as well. And then yeah, lots of simple planting. I didn't go over the top with it either, which I think works really well. But we are quickly wrapping up the end of this video. If you have any comments, or if you like it, if you don't like it, then do let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, any ideas, suggestions for future builds or anything like that in this game, then do let me know. And yeah, give it a big thumbs up as well, because you all mean so very much to me as well if you subscribe. And that, or you can follow me on pretty much all social medias, so Instagram, Threads, Hive, Discord, yeah, lots of possibilities. But until next time, thank you all for watching, and I see you all really soon. Alright, bye everyone!